Welcome back to Legend
Ding
of
dong,
Mana.
the witch is dead. Rub your eyes, get out of bed. Let them know the wicked witch is dead.
No, don't worry, James. Alright, let me check what I need to do next. Alright, we need to place the rusty anchor, but we're not gonna use it immediately.
Oh yeah, the rusty anchor, that's something the ice witch gave us.
Yeah, by placing it here, we obtain a seaport. Harbor. But we're not gonna visit it immediately. For now, we need to go back to our home for a bit because, as I mentioned, we need to get the special quest that's gonna unlock the supposed final dungeon.
Is it oh yeah, you're probably gonna get this anyway when you eventually go back to your home.
And Babes, you're up.
Okay.
Is he okay? Is he dying?
Remember, you're also the Sproutlings.
Don't worry, he was only chosen. Now he's going to the spiritual world to become a part of a big tree.
I didn't sign up for Legend of Korra here.
A big tree? Yep. We plants are all connected at our roots. We might look like separate beings, but we are one plant in our real dimension.
So in case you have wondered, the Sproutlings are essentially remnants of the mana tree that just wanders around.
Plant?
And let me guess, our home just happens to be the mana tree.
Surprisingly, no. I actually thought as well
What
the first
about
time.
me?
You're just a cactus.
You too.
How is a cactus a part of a tree?
If the plants join the big tree in the spiritual dimension,
We can take over the world!
A big tree will revive in this world too.
Java, it's a fantasy game. Roll with it.
No, Pedro, it's like you said, this is like a troll in Central Park. Plants are gonna take over.
No problem. It was chosen because your imagination filled it with love.
Like, I kid you not, Tio and Shuri. In the end of that film, the supposed protagonist takes over New York City with plans.
I'm no.
Unfortunately, yeah, I saw it. Why
Love is
don't
what we bring.
Shuri hasn't seen it though, you know what that means. A Generations commentary.
Can you guys do that while I'm in Blackpool?
I think one of you showed me scenes from that movie. It looks
Trust me, Shuri, you got it easy just seeing scenes of that movie. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
first thing first is to check, but surprisingly enough, it doesn't want to talk about this.
So
whatever.
essentially, plants are conspiring to take over the world.
Of course.
Well, not exactly,
Sonic
Jova. Remember, Jova.
Sonic, yeah.
Now, there we go, the Cage of Dreams. Now you need to
Oh,
follow
no.
the trail of leaves.
Oh
of
no,
the
the
sprout.
Cage of Dreams. I see it now. Quantic Dream, a cage.
Don't you see, Jova? This is the next step. After sprites, it's polygon.
Don't you
With
see,
the
Pedro? The plants are the emotions.
And now here's
What?
where the game turns weird. Pedro, you for context, you're Nunuzak, the mirror. Go.
I cannot
weird.
do that. Oh.
Bring back the Sproutling you hid. Is that a boy or a girl?
A being. No, I think it's a girl because it's a witch.
Oh, he was supposed to rise.
What happened to your voice there?
Help me. This man trapped the Sproutling in a dream with dimensional magic. Now the Sproutling won't be able to become the mana tree.
Sproutling should remain as they are, and they shouldn't become the mana tree. I have
Yes.
lived long enough to see many catastrophic events occur over the tree's power.
But don't you...
Small references for.
Did you
some
see
secret
Troll in
battle.
Central Park?
Right.
That's one. Has anyone kind of read it? No. We must eliminate the sources of war. Peace. War.
Tio, I think you... Sorry, not Tio, Pedro, I think you're cutting out.
No,
I suppose
No,
we
no,
could
you
have
weren't.
lived
It's
without
all
the
like
mana
that to
tree.
me.
But I feel bad for the Sproutling trapped in the dream cage. I could rescue him if only if I had the power, but that blasted David Cage is denying me of his emotions.
So what to do now?
Get Troy
thankfully-
Baker to tell him off?
Thankfully,
Oh!
Pokémon is here to give us lesson of the day. It's simply solo
It's
you.
Pedro.
Okay.
Yeah.
then. Totally, like join us.
So this is all part of that
sure.
penultimate quest leading up to,
Yeah.
Huh.
Alright then.
This happens regardless of what is the story. Essentially, Pokel now is gonna give a bit of a reasonable speech to Nunuzak and tell him that events need to happen, and if we repress them, it's gonna get worse anyway.
So,
This track in particular feels like a beta version of the Monstro.
Yeah.
I thought it sounded a bit like, you know, the wizarding study from Traverse Town. As a bit too.
Essentially, Nunuzak's argument is that if the mana tree is revived, the people will eventually go to war and destroy the world for it. That's why you want to prevent it and force peace if it's needed. Pokel thinks instead that the mana tree needs to be freed and people need to make the choices because, you know, there's special snowflakes and everything.
Why would
Like,
people
with
go to
not
war
being
over a
including
tree?
you. Quest.
Remember, Jova, mana is a source of magical power and it can be used for anything, so people would love to weaponize it as well.
Should we tell them that in the future you can easily get mana by picking up these little dream bubble drops?
Don't you see, Joe? But we want to turn everything to absolutely green.
I hate that troll. And seriously, what the hell, Don Bluth? You've taught better morals than that.
Although, to be fair, I kinda like this argument in a sense. In both ways have their reasons, although Poker seems to be a bit too risque
Not
with
that
these.
much.
Yeah, not only that, but the mirror...
Love.
I can't believe I'm taking the side of a mirror in a debate
Hold on,
talking
hold
about...
Love? Love is power. Give it to another, and you will bliss.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what
siding
is
with the
gentlemen.
mirror. I'm siding with the mirror.
Power of love.
I can't believe I'm siding with a mirror in a debate about whether or
Oh,
not...
Zaporn, and you forgive, love, and understand. Wisdoms sure do seem to be masters of trickery with words. Thank you. Nunuzak, you believe that fools outnumber the wise. Well, they do. You seem to think that you are fighting the fool's moment. You are fighting against a pessimistic world that only exists in your head. None of the creatures the goddess created are truly fools.
You know, Pokio, I'm an optimist by nature, and even I get the mirror's point.
You just need to believe.
Reality is not the dream that you are preaching. Thank you. Villains like the Deathbringer will surely come to the mana tree.
In case you don't remember, the Deathbringer was that skeleton guy that we fought before the skeletal dragon.
Haven't you played Golden Axe? The Deathbringer is fucking hard.
I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with a mirror in a debate about whether or not humanity will not fight over a tree. Yes, I know that tree wields mana, but come on!
Not gonna think the goddess created this world only for suffering.
The fairy arc. The fairy arc is proof we need for that.
Our very existence, not our behavior. This feels like a conversation between two kids trying to argue which one is the better Ninja Turtle.
I know, right?
Well,
I
it
am
kind
but an
of
old timer. Please lead me through this world with your supreme power. Wait, I thought you said
So he bought it.
Desperation.
I'll trust you to do whatever you believe. Even if you decide to destroy this world, I shall pray for you.
Really? We're doing this again?
Notice how I'm giving these two the exact same voice because they sound like the exact opposite of each other.
I know, right? And meanwhile, the Witcher's still... I suppose we could have... blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
no, don't worry, Joey.
So, meanwhile, the witch is just worried about the Sproutling, who's trapped in a mirror.
For what do the world and our lives exist?
And
Okay,
now
let me
we're
just
gonna
say-
get trapped inside the dream itself. Go ahead,
What?
Taylor, in the meantime.
Let me just say that the whole what are we here, what is life all about thing was done much better with John Paul in Nier Automata.
Not only that, they're also doing the whole, are we inherently fools
And
or are
to
we
give an
inherently
idea
evil?
how subtle that game is, there's a sequence where one of the characters you meet, Pascal,
Yeah.
openly reads also sprach Zarathustra from Nietzsche.
You know what? I'm gonna say it right now. Subtlety has... Okay. I get it, Sometimes the better things are subtle, but just being subtle doesn't always mean you're good. I mean, because, honestly, look, I don't care whether something is subtle or not. I mean, again, look, if they're trying to hint at something without, being subtle, then okay, it all depends on the execution. Something could be the most blatant it is, and sometimes that's for the best. Sometimes being subtle is a bad thing. Like, I really don't get this idea that just because something's subtle about it, that immediately makes it masterful.
Well, it's not so much that.
I'm not talking about how we talk about it. I'm talking about people who praise something just for
I
being
think something
subtle.
like Ace Attorney would lose a lot of its charm if it had
was
subtlety.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, Joe, but it depends on how it's. Let's take something, for example, like No Country for Old Men, which supposedly is a subtle work of art.
Yeah, I mean, so what if it's subtle? The messages don't come through clearly because of that subtlety is the problem.
See, here's the thing. And allow me to remind everybody, my favorite movie is 2001: Space Odyssey, so obviously I'm an appreciator of subtlety. The problem is that No Country for Old Men is not subtle. It's intentionally obtuse and vague as an excuse to not actually, convey anything. But go ahead.
I mean, I guess you could call it technically subtle. My main issue is that I'm bringing it up as a beef with people who praise something just for being subtle, not, people who have more of a reason.
I'll elaborate more after that.
Yeah, Shiri, by the way, there's gonna be a bit of a dialogue involving you.
It's our job to focus on right and wrong on the monetry's wounds.
So, we effectively now know that this is potentially a bad thing.
There you go.
Tail, take the sword, close your eyes and
I think that was supposed to be Shiroi, was it?
Wait, this was supposed to be...
Yeah.
I was? Oh, sorry.
And we got to the artifact, the Sword of Mana.
Because usually those things aren't really paced for me. I didn't realize that.
And the
okay.
Sproutling sprouts a flower.
Sorry about that.
No, don't worry, Shiri.
A flower?
It was
Kill
my
it.
bad.
So, are we ever going to
Yes.
learn more about that little witch girl?
In the Drumi story arc, yeah.
So, essentially, if you have not been doing the Jimmy story arc, you're
Yeah.
pretty much left in the dark. Okay.
Well, we don't really need to know about her. I mean, what you need to know is that she cares about the Sproutling. That's it.
Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I really think maybe it would be better to, I don't know, have someone from the established plotline that we actually know. I mean, look, I
The
get
only
it.
major problem is Nunuzak, because you can meet. You don't really need a questline to see him. He just appears randomly in Geo. At this point, we can actually get to Geo. I just didn't show it anyway.
Sorry, go on.
But
Well, Sproutlings.
and you need to all you need to know about the context is the moral that he believes in, and that's pretty much it. If you want to have know more about his personality, you just go talk to him in Geo, or during the Drumi side quest for a story arc. Sorry.
But here's the problem, though. Assume this is someone's first time playing. They don't know about those other storylines, unless they've obviously
I
read a
remember,
guide.
Jova, I didn't know because it was the dragon, because I finished the dragon story arc first. But
Now, I'm not
I
gonna
didn't really mind it.
Now, I'm not going to say that this is inherently a bad thing, but maybe this is more of a nitpick, but I think it's really bad storytelling of a game to have characters like this when we don't even know their characters, and we won't know their characters unless we go out of our way to actually find more about their characters. Again, okay, look. If this were like a side quest or something, I wouldn't complain about it, but like you said, this is essentially leading up to the finale act. So if this were my first time playing and I'd done, say, the fairy arc like you did without doing the Jumi or Dragon arc, I'd be left to assume that I'm going to learn more about them as I need to, because again, them showing up in a crucial scene like this implies that they're important to the plot, but we don't get to know much about them. And yeah, I really don't find that good storytelling for a game like this that's demanding that I pay this much attention, because let's be quite honest, at this point, with the themes they've raised, they obviously want someone to listen. Like, seriously, just half of the themes we've seen so
the Sword
far.
of Mana into the terrain, the tree that has been growing the top left screen actually becomes a portal to the Tree of Mana.
Why would you make the portal to the final dungeon when we aren't going there yet, though?
Because in doing so, it boosts the elemental affinity of any single region near them to the max, and we need it for a specific side quest in Domina.
Are you... Okay,
No,
that's...
hold on, Jova. You can raise it already on your own if you play the scene. The Tree of Mana is just the cheating way.
Okay. So that makes it
And
easier.
now, hold on. We're about to get a specific side quest, so allow me to indulge in something a little bit different in what I usually do in commentaries.
Alright.
You'll understand in a second.
You gonna sing?
No, Dweebs. I'll reserve that for eternity. Mi piglierò queste tre
Oh my
figlie.
god!
Quando cresceranno, tornerò.
The Avatar, it speaks! And he's evil. Wait, what?
Apparently someone else.
Seeing double.
Confused.
So it's now Tio speaking Italian because
It makes sense.
Lui smettila di attaccare la mia famiglia.
Don't pick
Some-
your reefs.
Something about his family.
Do not attack my family.
Yes.
It's a thing that
I-
Pedro also. It's a thing Pedro also mentioned in one of our teen.
Uh-huh.
this reminds me of when Pedro lost a bet. So for a part of Uncharted 3, he had to do an entire part in Portuguese.
Not just
And
that,
then
Teo, but
you
speaking of
lost a
family,
bet, and
there,
you had
wait
to
till
speak
you
in
listen-
Welsh.
Speaking of family, Teo, wait till you see that part where I spoke Portuguese throughout the entire thing, because I also did that.
Tornerò quando le nuove cresceranno.
Are you
It was
sure?
pretty funny.
But guys, does it top when Dweebs had to speak in Welsh because he lost a bet
that's
to
it.
me?
No, don't worry. The dialogue is.
Don't pluck my leaves.
So essentially, this new alternate version of the Avatar is running around and picking sprouting leaves.
So we're
Okay,
being
because-
framed for a
of
crime we
course.
didn't commit.
So I thought we were going for that direction, but surprisingly, the game kinda dodges that bullet at the last second or something. It's weird.
This should be interesting.
Like, people will have concerns. And now, right now, we can also start these other side quests that I mentioned. If you have enough elemental affinity here, Miss Yukina actually told us that her child, if you don't remember that egg in the corner, is about to actually hatch. But we need some ingredients to ease the process.
And her child's not that little birdie over there.
Yeah, it's bad, yeah. But if you have completed enough side quests on your own, you will actually have already those materials already on your own. However, I'm not gonna complete it right away. You can also, these are actually easy loot to get. You just need to, if you roam around naturally from the levels, you will get them naturally on your own. I'm just gonna showcase, there you go, what you need, and what I have right now. The bronze, the lava wood. The citrus squid, for example, is given you as one of the baits for the animal side quest, so you can have that right away. And it's also one of the plants that you can obtain from the Trent in your backyard.
So, Tio, aside from, the journal that you have to go to your room to read, is there a way to
Yeah.
keep track of what side quests you've done? Because I'll be quite honest, for a
No,
moment. Okay, so, I'll
again,
admit...
Jova, it's like you mentioned already multiple times that this game will be better with a quest log, and I would agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Because basically,
But again, Dweebs, this is being relatively old school. This game is one of those that expects you to write on paper certain things, like when you needed to decipher the dot bear language.
And I guess I had to remember that we had an egg there that was due to hatch. Jesus.
Right.
Well, not necessarily, just something. This is one of the most side quests. You can just stumble to it if you.
I get that. Although people who like to, get all the content or story in the game, people like me, especially in a JRPG, I guess I'd have to write that down. Again, I get it, time that the game was released, but I can see why some people may be a bit disillusioned with it over the years.
Also,
Bad
thanks,
hero. Oh my
Pelican.
god, no, please.
No.
all right. Originally, I thought you were supposed to meet the doppelganger here, but no, you actually you're supposed to talk a bit with Dwelle and Tipo first.
Of
Just to
course.
finish what I was saying, Joe, but the problem is with something is that a lot of times writers intentionally go out of their way to try to sound as baffling and as vague and obtuse as possible, and to make people start, feeling
Thinking
in the
that it's
stuff
hard.
and render and basically assuming that it's brilliant, because I don't understand it. I don't understand this, so clearly there must be some kind of deep hidden meaning that I just don't understand. Basically, a lot of writers take advantage of people like that. Basically, like what was his first name? McCarthy, the guy who wrote the novel. I'm not sure. Anyway,
Dweebs, remember, in case you're Tipo.
He's a
Well,
teapot.
what happened to you?
And
You
it's
gave him a
favorite.
British
Yeah,
accent because he's a
yeah, we're going
teapot.
to use
Dweebs.
pumpkin to take over the world. Wait, what?
Why are you saying such things? What's going?
It's going too
And
fast.
over.
Sorry.
I can't read it.
Or
Sorry.
Oh, what? Speak up, lad. You can't threaten me. I ain't afraid of you.
Also, did he say he's using pumpkins?
on your back.
Yeah.
That's what Elisa and Bud did.
Oh, I think I figured this out. on your back and make an end.
Until...
I'll get so itchy with an antail on your back, say.
No! I don't want an answer on me back. No!
But you're a pot. How can you itch?
And there you go, he just happened to have the pumpkin.
I'll give you the pumpkin, so please leave me be.
Again, didn't we do the whole trying to take over the world or town with pumpkin scene with Bud and Lisa?
Hold on. Actually, that's your clue on the nature of the doppelganger.
Oh no.
Well, essentially... Oh, bene, resina verde che viene fuori da questo. Non male, non bene.
Aww.
Essentially, Jova, remember we fought Bud and Lisa in a field of pumpkins. And apparently Tipo has been messing around in order to collect them. That means that probably something went wrong and some kind of residual magic just happened to be left there.
You're telling me that Bud and Lisa managed to create a clone of us?
Indirectly, apparently.
The jackal.
Jesus Christ, those kids
That's
are
the
more... Those kids are more powerful than I thought. Oh, by the way, Pedro, which jackal?
The one from the 90s.
Because
That's
guess
the one I
what?
was familiar with.
Because guess what,
Yeah.
guys? Ben Riley's now the jackal!
Sei arrivato all'ora perfetta.
It's a good thing I just pretend Marvel Comics doesn't exist anymore.
Ti sconfiggerò e poi diventerò.
Read Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows.
Perché ti odio. Non posso dirlo, ma sono il tuo lato oscuro? Sì, il tuo lato oscuro.
Oh, so we're doing Prince of Persia
Ovviamente
3.
non capisco, certo, non capisco come mai sono diventati il lato oscuro di qualcuno, ma è come se non posso smettere di sentire male. Ho perso confidenza in me comunque.
So... what?
Sorry guys, but...
Ad ogni modo, ora di morire.
So let me get this straight.
Unfortunately, guys, we've suffered financial problems, so we've had to be bailed out by the Italian government.
And there you
to
go.
provide those roads.
The true nature of a doppelganger was just essentially a magical, like, miscarriage of the pumpkins. And since Tipo went out to get some pumpkins here, it essentially awakened.
Fortunately, thanks to European similarities, I was fine understanding too. So.
Yeah, I actually stuttered a bit because it translated on the spot. It's been a while since I recorded this. So.
Sure.
What was I saying was, even so, Jova, I still cannot forgive and forget what they did in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, going back to what I was saying, so let me get this straight. Even though we've already established that our souls are kind of, bound to the underworld and whatnot, apparently we also have a dark side of ours, which is a part of our being who's been running around...
Actually, no, Jova. In this particular case, it was just a magical construct that believes it's our dark side because it just happened to have our shape.
And then it didn't have our shape right before the fight for some reason.
Well, he managed to regain his original form.
And this was all done by pumpkins! What is in those pumpkins?
Goddamn
Pumpkins? Impersonating pumpkins? Grr.
Tipo, do you have any idea what went on?
Oh. So it wasn't Duel. It was a blatant phony.
So let me guess, we're gonna have a bunch of side quests about pumpkin doppelgangers.
No, thankfully no.
Thank heavens it wasn't him.
Oh, so just the one.
And there you go.
You only get
Okay.
That's the problem also, Joe. We're gonna get a couple of more, I think 2 more quests about Tipo, and one involving the family of that, I forgot the name of that guy, the beetle guy that just talked to Tipo. Let's just say that particular side quest is... If you thought that the Fairy Story arc was mean-spirited, that one is just backward in terms of morality.
Wow.
The basic gist of it, for those who don't know, is that maybe those who are versatile and really speak English, is that outside of England, most European countries have very similar. Well, honestly, there's differences, obviously, but there's enough similarities in languages that I can still understand what Teo says, and I'm guessing the same thing for Teo. When I
Yeah.
Yeah,
Outside
again,
the UK,
It's all deriving from the Latin root. Essentially, that's why they call Neo-Latin language.
yeah, there's a reason that Spanish is considered one of the most versatile languages because,
Yeah.
it's similar to Italian
For
and Portuguese.
contrast, English derives from a mixture of Celtic, Gaelic, and Norse. So it's a weird mixture.
At the time you ran, you did all sorts of bad things today, and now a lot of people have scratches on their hearts. Those scratches on people's hearts will be gone if we pass them from urine. But the humans don't know that. Also, there was some
Wow.
weird Italian guy hanging around.
Wow, this literally is the
Not
precursor
for
to
me,
Kingdom Hearts.
it's gonna be okay.
Not just. Yeah. Well, for me, it's actually really easy, Joe. Like all I really have to do to speak Spanish is change a couple words here and there and speak in a higher pitch because that's basically it.
Yep. Whereas us,
My language derives directly from Spanish.
Whereas us Americans, we're adaptable. We take about from every bit of culture to be there.
My country literally started as a bunch of Spanish people who decided to go independent and form their own country, which became mine.
So why are all these sproutlings gathering around our tree? There's more than there were before.
Yeah, that's big. That's the sign of the fact that you have opened the portal to the mana tree. However, we're gonna finish this part with that side quest that I mentioned about hatching Pee-wee, the child of
the
Miss
chick.
Yukina. Yeah. Because essentially off screen I got all the remaining materials, I think.
Hooray!
Alright, let's see what happens.
My. Who's that
No.
dancing gal down there?
Actually, it's a man. It's essentially your tavern. Hold on, it's a tavern. It's an Indian stereotype, Joe.
This
it's a tavern
game
for-
is confusing me with genders. I
Joe,
know.
Joey, you
I know what
triggered
it's.
by a lot from this game.
I now
It's a
know.
tavern
I now
owner,
know.
But essentially functioning like your save point.
Oh, Hollywood.
Yeah.
You can
I
buy
now
some-
know what it's like to be dwibs on a daily basis.
What do you mean?
Well, sure, right. Dwibs mistook Tracer for a guy. Like,
I assume you did that before hearing her voice.
Yes.
he saw her in the pose.
I guess because she wore
I
Proxim.
All I saw of her up till
Oh, hold on, Jova. You want to talk about backward
all I
mechanics?
saw up till a little
Hold
bit
on,
at that point
hold on.
was
You
just the game cover.
Give me a second, Dweebs. You want to talk about backward mechanic, Dweebs? As soon as you do this, the quest boots you out of Domina, and if you want to see how Pee-wee actually looks like, you have to go back and see it.
Weird.
That's-
Did you not notice the two obvious clues?
Yeah, I mean, even
No,
on the game
no, I
cover,
Everyone
Dwibs, even on the game
else
cover,
seemed to.
Dwibs, even on the game cover, her front features are there.
Not just that,
I swear I didn't notice.
Not just that, Blizzard had an entire rant about
I missed all
Aircon.
that.
Well,
I'm
I don't know what to
surprised.
tell you then.
I mean,
There
she
you
would-
go.
Oh, whatever.
That's what Pee-wee looks like. It's a bird, and we
Oh.
get an item from it.
Weird.
I didn't even know Overwatch existed until like a few days after it came out.
It was advertised to heck and bang.
So how did I miss all that?
I have no
Because
idea.
you didn't inform yourself enough.
Well,
Basically-
it was Blizzard's attempt to try to branch off from World of Warcraft.
Basically, Dwibs, you are you. You are a unique individual who is able to miss the most amazing of things, and that is an amazing talent of yours, which means you are, by Danganronpa standards, you are the ultimate
Misser.
overseer.
Also, not just that, Pedro, remember Overwatch originally was supposed to be an MMO that got reworked into a team fighter. Tracer was supposedly one of the classes that you could choose. She was like the prototype.
Shame about that story.
What story?
The one that they hyped but never came to be because, oh, let's just tell the story for the trailers.
And comics.
And I'm not too fond of those loot boxes either, Blizzard.
Jova,
Anyway.
no one is.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
that was a quest.
Yeah, then we just need to report this and we're done for this.
I'll
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll admit this game's a bit inconsistent with how
Where Pee-wee?
Okay. To be fair, I get it, you know. Not all quests are gonna be so dialogue heavy, but I don't know. Some of these feel like, really? This is a quest? And you know, maybe I wouldn't make so much a big deal
Again,
about it.
Jove, I'm pretty convinced that this is a game that you enjoy more by playing it rather than just watching it. And remember, I'm showing you this
Sure.
particular run. When you actually play the game, you're free to do whatever you want.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
What kind of bird is
Yeah,
you?
go ahead, Williams.
There are too many things and people that are involved in my life out there. That doesn't sound like a good thing at all. It's okay with me, but is that...
Yes, not.
Admittedly, Tio, my critique is also a kind of a story critique, so it's not necessarily something that could be fixed by playing it. But I feel that, okay, I think what's clunky about it is that, again, if you want to keep record of it, you have to go talk to the cactus kid every time. And trust me, that makes things feel a bit clunky. Like, essentially, they're saying, yes, this is as important as this or that or that. And it's just, it feels a little... Again, like they're asking a bit much of us. Like, yes, we want you to treat all these quests that importantly, except some of these don't feel like something that should have been their own quest. Yeah, well. Again, it by no means ruins it. It's just, again, hopefully something they'll fix in a remake.
In
It
the
just
next...
boils down to the fact.
Oh, sorry.
It just boils down to the fact that the writing is just not very good. I mean, it has good intentions, but a lot of times it just doesn't know how to convey the themes it tried. Like it's so clumsy in the way it handles.
Alright.
Still, though, I am enjoying it overall, I'll admit.
In the next part...
I have to admit, I'm a bit disappointed because... Because this game is quite worse than I remember.
It's fun to riff on, I'll admit.
In my opinion, the best character in the game is the cactus.
Anyway, let's go ahead. In the next part, we will actually continue the Droomy story arc, actually.
Yay! Best storyline.
Right, see ya.
See ya.